The U.S. presidential election of 2000 was one of the closest and most controversial elections in American history. Then, Vice President Al Gore ran against Texas Governor George W. Bush, the son of former President George H.W. Bush. The campaign season was tense. That tension all came to a head on election night, leading to one of the most unusual outcomes in history, a presidency secured by a Supreme Court ruling in Bush v. Gore. It was Tuesday, November 7th, 2000. The race was close all night. Americans were glued to their television sets. 1 minute Gore was in the lead, the next Bush was set to win. So it all came down to Florida's 25 electoral votes. Whoever won the state of Florida would take the presidency.
It's just in. CNN calls the state of Florida for Al Gore. That means Gore has won the presidential election.
Stand by. CNN right now is moving our earlier declaration of Florida back to the too close to call column.
The results were just too close to call, which automatically triggered a recount by machine. The Florida Secretary of State, a Republican who had also worked on Bush's campaign, insisted that this recount be completed by November 14th. Still, with just 2 counties' recounts, Bush's lead had shrunk even further. It was now just about 500 votes. So the Florida Supreme Court granted the Gore campaign's request for a larger recount of 70,000 questionable ballots. But then the recount revealed a problem: balloting methods. In some Florida counties, votes were cast using a hole punch. But if the hole wasn't punched properly, the machine wouldn't count it. In Palm Beach County alone, 29,000 ballots were found spoiled and discarded, either because they weren't properly punched or because multiple candidates were voted for on the same ticket, presumably by mistake. It was now 19 days past Election Day, and a winner still had not been declared. At this point, the United States Supreme Court intervened and halted the recount. By a 5-4 vote, the U.S. Supreme Court ultimately ordered the recount be stopped. Gore conceded, and Bush was awarded the electoral votes and declared president. However, the Supreme Court's ruling did not appease Gore supporters. Many Americans saw the narrow majority vote in the Supreme Court as being split along partisan lines, 5 justices favoring the Republican, 4 the Democrat. Critics would later claim bitterly that Al Gore lost the election by a margin of just 1 vote in the Supreme Court. In the end, Bush became president and served 2 terms. Gore continued his political life as an advocate for action against climate change.